Today we are making coconut cake for two. Now the 6-inch round coconut cake is tender, it's fluffy, it's soft. It is topped with a coconut buttercream and then sprinkled with sweetened coconut for a maximum coconut flavor. Join me in the kitchen as we make small batch recipes with big taste. All right, so I'm just enjoying a little bit of this coconut cake. I'm going to show you how to make it in a minute. But before we start, I need to make a correction to the video you are about to see. Because you see, I currently, about a year ago, we lived in Portland, Oregon at sea level. We now live in Utah at high altitude. And I have discovered there are a few of my recipes that I have to adjust somewhat for the high altitude. And after I made this one in the video, I discovered this is one of them. So you're gonna want, if you're at high altitude, and I'm meaning probably, a couple thousand or more feet, you're going to want to add an extra 2 tablespoons of flour to the cake batter. So instead of 3/4 of a cup, you're going to add 3/4 of a cup and 2 tablespoons. And then I found that I needed to use 1/3 of a cup of coconut milk rather than 1/4 cup. So make those 2 adjustments if you're at high altitude. If you're at sea level, go ahead and make it according to the way it is written. And I will make those notations in the description of the video down below. Enjoy the video and enjoy the cake. So today's recipe for coconut cake is another you asked for recipe. I had several requests for a coconut cake, and I've also had some requests for coconut cream pie. So watch for that video coming soon. So for our cake, like I said, we're going to use a 6-inch cake pan, and I'm going to go ahead and spray it. This is my favorite baking nonstick spray. I love it. It has, not only does it have the butter grease part, but it also has flour in it. So it's kind of like a one step. And then I'm going to take just a piece of parchment paper, or you could use wax paper, and line the bottom of my cake pan. So it's ready to go. For our cake, we're going to use 1/3 of a cup of softened butter. And we are also going to use 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. We're going to use some coconut extract. This is an important part of the cake. It's going to give you great flavor, so don't leave it out. We're going to use 3/4 of a teaspoon, and then we're going to use just 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And I always like to make sure you're using a good quality vanilla extract. All right, then we're just going to take our hand mixer and go ahead and mix this up. You want to get it so the sugar and the butter are well incorporated and nice and fluffy. All right, next we are ready to add in our dry ingredients. I have 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. Get it all out of there. And we are going to use 1/2 cup of, this is sweetened flaky coconut. We're going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and then 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking soda. And then we need to add in the coconut milk. There you go. I am using full fat coconut milk. It's going to give this cake not only amazing flavor, but it really helps with the texture to give it that nice, moist, tender crumb. So I've got 1/4 cup. I'm going to go in there and then just mix it all together. All right, now it's kind of a thick batter because of that coconut and that in there. So we're going to take our pan and we'll just grab a spatula, get this out of the way, and we're going to just put it into our prepared cake pan. And then just go ahead and spread it. Get a nice even layer. We're going to bake this in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 30 minutes. You want the top to turn nice and golden brown. The cake's going to start to pull away from the edges. And when you push down on the cake, it will spring back and a toothpick will come out clean. We're going to make, while the cake bakes, we're going to make our yummy coconut buttercream. But first, there's no egg in this cake. I know someone's going to ask, but I did not forget to put the egg in. There is no egg. And second, I wanted to tell you what I really love about these little 6-inch cakes. And I have quite a few different 6-inch cake recipes here on YouTube, so make sure you check those out. I like to call them a comfort cake because not only is it the perfect amount of cake for 2 to 4 people, it is the perfect cake to gift to someone. When you want to bring someone a little bit of comfort, to do something nice for someone, give them a little 6-inch cake. It's so doable, they're quick and easy to make, and it's not as overwhelming as like a 8-inch layer cake. So give them a try. So for our buttercream, I have in here 1/4 cup of softened butter. I am using salted butter. If you're using unsalted, just add in a little bit more salt. We're just going to add in a pinch of salt, but add in 2 pinches of salt. Then I'm going to do 2.5 cups of powdered sugar. And then one more. So I'm using 1/2 cup. There we go. Then we're going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of some more of that yummy coconut extract. All right, and then let's mix that a minute. All right, we're gonna need some liquid in here, so we're gonna use some more of that coconut milk. We're gonna put in 2 tablespoons. Now, with frosting, you know, it can go from dry to soupy really fast. So if you feel like it's just too dry, add in just a little bit more coconut milk, just a little bit at a time, because like I said, it can go from one to the other really fast. But if you find then it's too soupy or too runny, add in a little bit more powdered sugar. All right, I've got a nice smooth consistency, and we're gonna pull our cake out of the oven, let it cool, and then we're ready to frost it. All right, our cake is cooled. Normally I would let it cool for about 5 minutes, then flip it out of the pan, but I got distracted, so it totally cooled in the pan, but that's okay. But I want you to see how easy it comes out of the pan, literally every time with that Baker's Joy spray. So good. So go ahead and take the parchment paper off. Then we're gonna just take that frosting, and we're gonna put just a coating all over the sides and the top of this cake. Now, we are gonna cover this cake totally with a layer 2 of the sweetened flaky coconut, so you don't have to have a perfect coating of frosting. So don't worry about that. Just get it on there. And did I mention how good this frosting is? All right, then we're gonna take our sweetened flaked coconut, and I'm just gonna take it in my hand and press it into the sides of the cake. Okay, this is a little bit of a messy job, but somebody's gotta do it. And then just go ahead all the way around. You can kind of take what falls underneath there, you're not wasting it, and press it in. Now, if you want to toast this coconut, you know, go ahead and do that. I think it's pretty just using it white. And now let's get a plate, and we're gonna put it on, and it'll be ready to serve. Okay, so I wanna cut a piece here, because I wanna show you how moist and fluffy this cake is. I'm gonna cut it into 4 pieces, but cut into however many you want. Yeah, it's so good. It's guaranteed that this cake is going to satisfy any coconut craving anybody has. So now if you've got a recipe that you want to see me make here on Small Batch Big Taste, please leave me a comment down below. Let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.